I would say playing with Evo from the first time we started playing PvP with Evo. This dude has become an absolute beast. Let's
Yo,
talk about
I
this,
know.
yo.
Yeah,
Like
gas me up, boys. Let's go.
Evo has become an absolute beast at PvP.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the first ever MPN Destiny Zone. And I'm just kind of moving everything over right real quick. All right, how's everybody doing tonight? Thank you guys for tuning in and welcome to this premiere episode. We've been talking about obviously what we're going to discuss here tonight, but also the future of what this could be. This could be a regular episodic series, if you will, here live on the MPN Twitch channel. And with all the great content that Destiny's been releasing, we're going to talk about it a bit tonight because obviously they just came out with a huge expansion, arguably one of the best campaigns to date. And just kind of talk tonight about what we did pre-expansion, what we're doing now, and then what we're predicting for the rest of this season and what all of that will look like. So again, welcome everybody to the MPN Twitch channel. It's great seeing a lot of you guys out there in the chat. Some new names as well. Let's run through that real quick and just say hello to everyone. We got Menta out there all over in the chat. Appreciate you tuning in. You were 4 seconds after we started the stream. We were actually 4 seconds ahead of schedule and you were already in here. And so good to see you. Just kidding. Riven my face. Good morning. Spicy pork belly. What's going on? Unlimited coder. How's it going? We got Swifty in here. Morphus is out there. Krampus. And cheer you gone. I can never say your name, man. And now it's like almost a meme in itself, me trying to pronounce that. Short Dog, what's going on? Welcome, everybody. So, hey, what do you guys think of this overlay, huh? I think it's pretty cool. I made it today when I got home, and I kind of like it. Kind of like the vibes. Chiragon. Yeah, I'll get it someday. If you just type it in every single time, I'll remember it. But yeah, I'm kind of digging this. This is meant to be just a laid-back, kicked-back show, and we got some great people that are joining me. This is the most I've ever had join me on any show we've ever done before, so I'm really excited for this. And some new names that a lot of you guys probably, well, none of you guys have seen on this channel before, and I'm so happy to involve these guys in what this season's going to look like. So without further ado, we have Cheesy Poof. He is number 1 up there, top left of the screen. He is a sergeant in Mutiny Squad. And, he was actually recommended to join us based off all of his skill in the game and has a ton of knowledge about Destiny. So obviously he is the perfect candidate for this show. We got Grizzy Faux Shizzy in the house as well. And he is a lieutenant colonel of our Immortal Legends division, that being where we house all of our Destiny squads. So welcome him to the show as well. MPN Krampus. This is pretty much his brainchild here, as he takes a lot of the credit in making the Destiny squad possible in MPN, but also it was his Mercy Lens episode where we talked about doing this, and he actually followed through and showed up like he said he would. So welcome, Krampus. He's a colonel in MPN over the Immortal Legends division as well. And last but certainly not least, MPN G Slayer is joining us as well, who is the major of the newly founded Mutiny Squad in MPN. And just as soon as we finish the introductions, we get an entire hype train going on in the chat. You guys are crazy out there. We got Airman gifting out a sub, Brown with the gifted sub as well, Riven my face with the 2 months. Let's go. Brown with some bits. You guys are awesome. You know how to kick off a show and hype it all up. We got a lot to talk about, though, as a lot has happened around the Destiny community and MPN as well. We're going to mix both of them together and just kind of let everybody know what we're doing on the game and kind of what we're looking forward to as well. So we're going to dive right into it. And I promised these guys before the show started, and I'll stick with my promise to the chat out there as well, that I'm not going to do a lot of the talking in this show. I'm a newly founded love player for Destiny, if you will. I don't even know if that's a phrase you can use, but I've been playing the game pretty religiously for like 2 weeks. These guys have been playing it for years, dating back to Destiny 1. And so they have a lot more knowledge. I'm going to let them do the talking tonight and just kind of guide this episode as the host, if you will. So without further ado, let's jump in and take a look. Just the Witch Queen came out, just over a week ago, right? And so let's rewind the time a little bit to start off. And I just want to hear your guys' thoughts and kind of what went into, because I really didn't start playing Destiny until like a week before the expansion came out. So I really don't have any memory of Destiny, if we're being honest, pre-Witch Queen. And I wanted to kind of get your guys' thoughts and what that looked like. What was it like not only preparing for the Witch Queen expansion in MPN, but just you guys as players? What goes into being and making sure that you guys are ready for a new expansion like this? Who wants to go first?
Yeah, I'll go first, yeah.
Go ahead, Grizzy.
So, at least, like, I was still a major right at the end of, like, last season. So, trying to, like, manage my squad to be active in that time was honestly a struggle. Because everyone's done everything they need to do, like, 1,000 times over. So, getting people still active and trying to do all the stuff that they wanted to do was kind of a hard thing to do. But prior to all that, like, when we first got the hint that Witch King was going to be coming up soon, we got the dates available, it was, like, such a grind for a lot of people. I took it kind of a different approach than most people. So, like, most people piled their inventory full of bounties and stuff like that. So, like, when the new season dropped, they would just, like, cash in all the XP and everything like that. I didn't want to do that. I'm weird, so I literally had like an empty inventory going into Witch Queen. So I did it all from scratch because I was like, I want to grind. Like, if I've already done everything I wanted to do in the last expansion, which was awesome, and I'm glad that like they dropped the 30th anniversary pack. I'm sure everyone can agree with that. That was a really good break in the content just to help like carry us into Witch Queen. But yeah, I came into the new DLC basically completely empty. I had to grind all the levels myself, like from scratch. I didn't want to have like a leg up because I wanted to earn that leg up with the new content.
Yeah, I pretty much did the same as you. I don't really do any prep work or anything like that.
Really? Yeah. I thought you would for sure.
No, bro. I mean, I was kind of radio silent, like, towards the end of the expansion, right? The burn hit me pretty hard.
Yeah, I mean, I've had a few conversations with people that are like, hey, I messaged in the chat, no one's really answering, and I'm like, look, like, or they'll say, like, oh, everyone's only doing PvP. I'm like, yeah, because it's the end of the season, everyone's ran the Nightfall like 1,000 times. Everyone already has pages and pages and pages of bounties. So it's like, there's not really a whole lot to do. No one wants to run the GM when they already have their Adept Palindrome, like their 17th one or whatever. I know G-Slayer had like pages and pages of bounties. He was really ripping it.
I was full set. Well, I wouldn't say pages and pages. I think I had all the important ones for like so I can get powerfuls off rip. I had Iron Banner. I had Trials done, and then I did have some of the Star Horse ones, but those were new. So I was trying to figure out like if they were or if it was going to be in like just in one of those one things. But it did help with the big boost. But I know a lot of people were doing the Paracausal Hall boxes.
Yeah,
Paraversal Halls. That I can't remember who it was, but there was someone in our group that like did like 70 or something of them. So they like instant opened all their boxes and they were already at 1,500 before they even started the campaign.
I know Evo was ripping on those a little bit when he first gave it to the next expansion, so that was good.
Yeah. It kind of sucks because like I wanted to grind the Witch Queen campaign, but like me being a PvP person, like I just wanted to grind PvP.
Yeah.
Like I love PvP. Like you know, being a Destiny 1 you know, trial carry, I used to get paid for it and stuff like that, but like Destiny 2 took that to a whole different level of flawless pull and all this other added stuff with flawless. So like it was very hard for me to do any of that stuff. So like
Well, I know that for me, the end of last season was a real grind, especially for PvP, because Igneous Hammer was going away. My freaking, the best hand cannon in the world right there was going away.
Your baby was no,
I mean,
your baby was no. You the last word's your baby. All right.
Hey, the last word's mine, but like for a 120, it's the best 120 there is, honestly. And like even after the 120 nerf, it was still top dog. Yeah, I mean I've seen you guys have great success with that as well. So knowing that was going to go away, that like really put me on the grind. I mean, if I prepped for anything coming into Witch Queen, it was definitely for trials because I really care about the Soulless Scar because I already had a decent Soulless Scar, and like I don't really use swords for PvP. But that Igneous, I use Igneous a lot, so I wanted to get a few solid rolls before it got wiped out.
I would say, like, as in a standpoint of Witch Queen weapons are freaking amazing. Like, they actually outdid themselves with the weapons in Witch Queen. Like, the new hand cannon they came out with, or a couple of hand cannons, some of the assault rifles, the grenade launcher I got hit with today. I had no idea. G Slayer had it. Was like he hit you with it, and
what is it? It was like the anti-lasting impression thing.
Yeah.
The buffed version, like the whole weapon crafting thing is freaking awesome. How you can pull everything out, but like he got hit with it, ran around the corner. I was like, "Do not go by the," because we met some guy in the tower, and I was like, "Don't go by him." He's like, "Why?" And I was like, "You're gonna die," and he just insta death. And he was like, "What the hell did I die from?" I was like, "You got stuck by a dang rocket, dude."
But I would say the weapon crafting, the shaping the weapons is a cool aspect to Destiny now. And like just overall, like I think this DLC is by far one of the best ones.
Oh
like,
yeah,
since the Taken King.
Actually, I wanted to ask G-Star, because you had so many bounties, did you get any of the new stuff from like Iron Banner or Trials when you cashed those in?
So when I did mine, they haven't implemented the actual Iron Banner and Trials and such. I got old gear, but I got an updated gear. So I got really good Reed's Regret out of it, but I mean,
because I saw one guy on YouTube pull his Iron Banner bounty, and he got a new 180 round hand cannon. And that thing was like the freaking juice.
Yeah, I wasn't that lucky. I didn't get any of the new pulled stuff, so I got the old pull. Which it's all right.
I'm anxious to see what it all looks like, because honestly, I hate the new armor. Like the Gambit and the Crucible stuff, like, man. I mean,
it's pretty ugly.
It looks like someone just dragged like their bloody fingers over their cloaks and their gear and stuff, and that's all it is.
It looks like someone's Spanish mom dressed him up as Halo for Halloween from like Walmart. They're like, it's Halo, you're Master Chief. And it's like they have no idea what the game is or anything like that. It just looks similar. Here's a helmet with the lens on it. There you go. And like, it's kind of cool to see because like the whole like Halo aspect, and then also having the 30th anniversary with Bungie, it was cool to tie into it. And I think that the 30th anniversary pack really got people to grind more because I mean the freaking battle rifle, they had the Magnum in there, like they had the energy sword. Yeah, bro, it's clean, and it's good, and it's like even go ahead.
I would say playing with Evo from the first time we started playing PvP with Evo. This dude has become an absolute beast. Let's talk about this, yo.
Yeah, like gas me up, boys. Let's go.
Evo has become an absolute beast at PvP. I'm just saying, dude. Whenever I started playing with him, dude, he was out like damaging and KD with me. And I'm like, Evo was like, man, you got to step it up, dude. And I'm like, bro, like we used to have to step it up for you, but now, dude, Evo is becoming an absolute beast. Let's talk about this.
And Evo used to be over there in the back with his freaking blue auto rifle. Like,
yeah.
Now, butter, I got you.
Yo,
this is the best one.
That. I'm like, yeah, I'm throwing this on. You're like, take that off immediately. Like,
now this dude is,
bro, yeah.
Now this dude is like literally taking out people 1v1s. I've seen him do 1v3s, no problem, and it's insane to me of how much like this man's grinded on this Witch Queen DLC, and we played with him. All of us, played PvP, PvE with this guy, and he's just outdone me or whatever. Like, I'm just like, wow, dude, like this is insane. Like it takes a grind to like figure out the game and like figure out the mechanics of it, and this guy gets it.
Yeah, I think that a lot of it, just like what you were talking about, Grizzy, right when we transitioned into this, is the 30th anniversary. You start to realize like the PvP especially have a lot of similar mechanics to what Halo did. And you guys got to remember, I mean, I'm getting up there in age. I grinded Halo 3 religiously, like trying to play it competitively, and I loved that game. Halo was the first game I ever fell in love with. So obviously, like giving Destiny a chance like I have and realizing, my love for what Bungie has created, it's like an advanced version of Halo. Really what it is as far as the PvP goes. I'd say it's more challenging for sure, and I think that that's what I enjoy about it, because there are different things you got to take into consideration when you're out there playing those game modes, and the bare normal of the game as far as PvP structure goes, to me was very easy to catch on with just because of the Halo background. But it's that advanced kind of mechanics to the game that I've fallen in love with that makes me continue playing it. I mean, and then on top of that, I mean, I played Halo still to this day. When I do play Halo Infinite, I play on controller, to where this game I play mouse and keyboard. And I think I love it even more because of that. You add that additional challenge on top of it. And I mean, I can't say anything bad about the game since I've picked it up again. And I played it a little bit on Xbox One, and like I've told you guys a few hundred times probably by now, I played like just the campaign, and that was it. Never played anything else.
Mercy Lens, and you forgot about 3/4 of the game.
Yeah, I didn't even know it existed until you guys started talking to me about it, and I'm like, what? I'm using blue auto rifles and stuff. I have no idea what's going on.
Yeah.
And now look where it's at, man. And like I enjoy like the fact that like I didn't actually start playing Destiny 2 till I got a PC, and MP and Plague was actually like, hey, because I gave all my controllers away, like I was strictly going mouse and keyboard, and he was like, just play Destiny. And that's all I did was strictly play Destiny and stuff like that. And like the way it transitioned, and I was like, holy cow, they changed this game. Like, this game was trash when it first came out. Like, let's all agree. Like, this game was complete trash. And they've changed it so much because every roll gun that you got was the exact same when you first started. And now it's just so different. Like, they've added so much stuff to it. Like, I honestly think they've done better than Destiny 1, in my opinion.
Well, I'll also say this, like, not even just Evo, but, like, I don't know so much about Cheesy because I just met you recently, but both Cramp and G-Slayer, since I met you guys, have improved so much. I mean, like, G-Slayer didn't even have the game for PC at all.
Yeah,
so
no, I started on PS4 because I had a buddy in my old group, and he was like, it was like 2 a.m. He's like, do you play Destiny? I was like, I've heard of it, never played it before, but let's download it and see how it is. Like, 6 hours later, the next day, because PlayStation's so slow with downloading stuff. Everyone knows that struggle. Loaded it up, and I remember my first ever encounter was I can't remember exactly what it was. I think it was like a public event or something, but it was he brought me to like the master version, like the hard version. And I walked in and everything was question marks. And I'm like, what do question marks mean? He's like, oh, you can't do anything. And I was like, what do you mean I can't do anything? It's like, you can't fight anything. You can't shoot anything. It's like you're throwing pebbles at people. And I was like,
Oh yeah.
And I'm legit laying rounds and things. It's just like one, and
Yep.
it was just. I was like, okay, I can't do this. Like I have to grind because I can't be struggling like this because this is just something that like I know a lot of people that have went through that. So like that initial little snippet or whatever was just it was exactly what I needed, and then I played for like I think like 2.5 weeks, and I went back to my COD because I didn't really find that Destiny interesting. But then when I switched fully over to PC, I did Apex, and then I did like my 2-3 month grind, like got all the kills that I wanted, and I got my badge, and I was like, I don't need this anymore. And then Grizzy was like, "Yo, you want to go play Destiny?" And kind of just went downhill from there.
That's
and now
how
I
it
have
always starts out. It always
Well,
starts
I
out that way.
way
All
too
right.
many hours on the game. just terrible.
So
Yeah, but
I'm-
you went from like nothing to being a total beast. Like you could lead
I mean-
anyone through a raid, you could lead anyone through like a grandmaster,
Yeah,
do all the builds
like
and stuff.
G Slayer, dude, is by far the most educated person for PvE.
Well, oh, hold on. I would have to say Cheesy's like right there, if not above me. All right.
Yeah, I mean, Cheesy has more experience.
Oh,
Yeah,
oh, let me like take that back. You just talk more than Cheesy does.
No, that's all it is. I have to
Just lurking here in the background.
Yeah.
All you hear is G Slayer just yapping, dude, about like raids and stuff like that. But I will say, what got me back into PvP was actually Grizzy. He, whenever he joined Dynasty, transferring from Anarchy, he was like, "Yo, anybody on?" And I messaged him back, and I was like, "Yo, I'm on." And we started playing Trials. And dude, honestly, man, was the most heartwarming thing I've ever had. And like somebody that loves PvE or PvP as much as I do. And that guy right there, man, got me back into it, was just back on the grind. And we played till about, 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah,
and just straight grinding, man. And we lost a lot, but dude, it was honestly by far one of the coolest experiences of playing PvP.
Well,
Like,
also, I'll say this. Back when I first started playing with you, I was smacking you around left and right like nobody's business. but now look at you here. You've really taken the initiative to play more and train more, and now it's like you're on my level.
Bro, that was like I used to. Cramp came in and challenged me to a 1v1. I was turning him down until like, I finally, long story short, I finally accepted the challenge and he left the fucking voice channel on Discord. Like, just dipped as soon as he was putting like all this stuff out there. Like, I'll give you my account if you beat me and stuff. And I'm like, fine, I'll do it. And then just straight dipped on me because he knew.
Yeah.
He didn't want the smoke.
No, dude.
Yeah.
No, it's all fun. Hey, I want to move on to the campaign part of the Witch Queen in just a second. But before we do, I did promise everybody it'd be interactive. TXR Menta in the chat says, do you remember when hand cannons were 4-shot, LOL, and shotguns, snipers, and fusion rifles were heavy weapons?
Yo, that was such a long time ago.
That was crazy,
dude.
Man.
That's a long time.
No, what was even crazier is certain secondaries had infinite ammo now.
Yeah,
or where you had to pick up ammo for secondaries, and now like you don't.
You used to have to pick up ammo for primaries. That was like the worst thing ever. Because I'm like, you're sitting in the middle of a Grandmaster with no ammo. Like, what do I do now? I just start punching shit. Like,
yeah, that's all you could do.
You just punch shit and pray. That was it. So I'm really glad they implemented the infinite ammo, at least for like primary weapons.
Yeah.
Or at least like.
Yeah, no, like, especially for bows too. I know that sounds like a weird thing to say.
Oh yeah.
Well, like
those came out the best.
Yeah, no, I've been experimenting a lot more like with this season or whatever. It's just like the Laman Arc in PvE is insane. With
I'm gonna shake my head. Dude.
Yo, I remember when you used to have to buy the ammo from the shop and keep like the power bricks in your inventory to like open up. That was so long ago. Oh my gosh, that was such a pain. Yes.
But I mean, it was on tap power or whatever. So I mean, it's not crazy.
Yeah, but still, now we have so much like better animal economy here.
I don't think I'd be able to play the game if you had to do stuff like that anymore.
Yeah, it's like, you want to go do an activity? You have to go somewhere to buy the ammo
Oh no!
before going in to do it.
On raids, there was a little person in the tower that you could buy these like for power weapons and stuff like that, like for your rockets and stuff that you had to buy, and you could stack them, whatever, and then you had to supply your ammo as you went.
Yeah,
it was it was rough. Back in the day.
I mean, you were struggling earlier to get heavy ammo earlier, Cheesy. So I can imagine you still wanting that a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I went like 11 minutes without a brick dropping, and that was almost like breaking the keyboard territory for me. So,
yeah.
That's awesome.
Imagine if I had to like fly back to the tower and buy it. Nah, not a chance.
Well, let's go ahead and switch it over now to the Witch Queen campaign specifically. I'll kind of start it off and just go with, I told you guys about my love for Halo, and I got to tell you, the legendary campaign of Witch Queen reminded me so much of grinding Halo Legendary that literally I'm thankful that I have friends to do this with this time around, because I didn't on the Halo Legendary campaign, and man, there was a lot of anger being released in the game. This time, there was some anger, no doubt, but I had some buddies I could kind of laugh it off with. So, tell me, how many of you guys finished the campaign yet? Yet to finish? How you guys doing on that?
Cramp, did you finish?
Nope.
Cramp hasn't even started. Cramp hasn't even started.
Well, like all I can think about is PvP when it came to the Destiny 2s or the new Witch Queen. Yeah, I've done like at least probably 25% of it, but like at the same time I'm just like, I get that you get the power level and stuff like that. I'm just like, dude, I like,
and the Austria's trigger.
In my opinion, PvE is just, I mean, I like PvE, but like you have to play with the right group for it and stuff like that, and have a good time and doing stuff like that, and everybody was already surpassing me because of work and stuff, so like I didn't want anybody to like have to come in there to do legendary whenever they're already completed the campaign, because I see their banners, I can see everything that they've done, so I'm like, I'm just gonna hit PvP. And honestly, like, I'm lighting up a little slower than most, but it is what it is. I just like PvP more.
What were your guys' experience in the campaign?
Bro, struggle.
Yeah, honestly, the people that I have done it with, I've done it with Morph, I've done it with Plague, and I've done it with G Slayer and Cheesy. And for the legendary part of it, I was like, holy crap, man. Like, that was it's insane. Like, to get past like certain parts just to get chest. Like, it's just a lot harder than, like, I'm glad that they added the legendary part of it so you can get 2 chests instead of just 1. And it's just incredible of what they've done to this DLC. Like, it's like, honestly, like, it makes people like want to play more of it. And the campaign was a lot longer than any campaign in Destiny.
Oh yeah, that was awesome.
Big time, yeah.
That was awesome.
I'll also say this, like, it was really, really hard, but it wasn't out of the realm of possibility for most players. So, like, if you've played Destiny like consistently over the past like couple seasons or whatever, even like casually, then you can still probably hop into Legendary with like a buddy or two and have fun and like be able to grind that out. It wasn't unobtainable for a lot of people. Because I know like Grandmasters, I mean, I'll say like at least 60% of Destiny players will never play a Grandmaster. Or they'll probably like maybe even like 80% people will never touch a Master Vogue or whatever. Or anything like that, because it's just like the difficulty, they don't feel confident enough to take on that challenge. Or like when it gets down to like class builds and item builds and things like that, it's really like, it really counts. I know one thing that Eva was saying, like kind of like the last little bit, is that he's using a blue weapon and things like that, and that he felt like
I'm never gonna live that down.
The base of PvP was simple to grasp, but the advanced part of it was kind of wasn't interested in. And it's the same sense of PvE, because like you could have 3 of the same gun that function completely different from each other and do different damage and different effects just because they have different perks. So even if the gun is the same, there are a whole bunch of possibilities, and really finding that like perfect roll or anything like that is going to be tough. takes time and effort. That's why a lot of people like going into it weren't equipped and needed the help. I mean, hell, I know I wasn't equipped for the legendary campaign. That thing was a struggle and a half.
So my opinion on the Witch Queen is the fact that they integrated the Hive again, like really hyped up the Hive again, because it wasn't really hyped in like other campaigns, but like in this one, like it was really hyped of that and Cabal. And I really digged it because I like going against Hive. Hive and Vex were like my favorite two things, like as in PvE aspects, and I really like the fact that they put the Hive in this one.
Yeah. Talk about that more, because Menta also mentioned that he really enjoyed the fact that they brought that into the game, and he remembers reading stuff about it, basically in the lore and all of that. So. Talk about that a little bit, what you guys thought of them putting the Hive into the campaign, because apparently it hadn't been very much up until that point in the actual game itself.
No, it hasn't, and there really wasn't a backstory of Hive as much. Destiny 1 had much of that, like with the the Crota raids and stuff like that. There was a lot of Hive in that, but like this one integrated more of the Hive part of it. Like it tells more of a backstory of it.
I'll also say this, at the beginning of Destiny 2, there was more Hive. So, like, the lore behind the whole, like, Hive stuff and Savathun and the Witch Queen, it's, like, super, super in-depth. And that's actually, like, one of the more expansive, like, lore parts of Destiny. So it's really cool that they kind of brought it back and then expanded on it, because it's a huge part. I mean, if you have watched the cutscenes and listen to the memories of the memory table when you complete the campaign, like it's in depth, like for real, and the whole like story behind Savathun and the Witch Queen and all that stuff, and the how that all came to fruition. The Worm Gods. There used to be a strike. What was it? Or Nightfall, like back in like early D2, where you used to fight one of the worms. That was
that was
one of my favorite ones. Yeah, I love that thing.
That was good.
But that got taken out.
Easy.
Yeah, it was easy, and it was funny because like this giant worm creature like attacking the whole stage and stuff like that. It was like an interactive experience, but instead of just like I don't know, put a div bubble on Atheon and chunk him with the galley a couple times.
Yeah.
So I mean that's like kind of a lame boss fight. But I'll say this: with the campaign, the ending boss fight was the most difficult and also the most interesting boss fight I've ever had to do. And G-Slayer knows too, because that was a freaking struggle and a half to get done.
All right, well, I'm going to add...
this is all I have to say, all right? No, you can go, Grant.
I was just going to add, like, for, like, what it's looking like and from what I've read on Reddit and stuff like that, for what they're integrating, Savathun's obviously Orc's sister, and the fact that they're going to be, hopefully, what I'm seeing is that they're going to be adding, with the Hive and stuff like that, is King's Fall from Destiny 1.
That would be really interesting.
Everybody's going for Crota, but like most of the people were going for King's Fall because King's Fall was by far one of the most epic raids in Destiny 1. By far. Like, besides Wrath of Machines was my top tier. Like, if you want to be doing Wrath of Machines, PvE, I got you. But with King's Fall, that was my second favorite raid, and followed behind that was Bog. But King's Fall, I feel like that's going to come back to Destiny 2 eventually. Not a release date for that, but like there was a vote on between King's Fall and Crota's Raid, and I'm kind of really going towards King's Fall because, man, the weapons, the Hive, and I feel like it's going to give more of a backstory of everything with the new lores and stuff like that. Like you get a lot of the lores and stuff like that. I'm super stoked for it.
See, I think that like the way that the game is going now, with kind of re-bringing back like Vault of Glass and redoing that in a different way. I think that like right now we have the Witch Queen raid, which is not a repeat raid. The people have been in there. Can I confirm that to be fresh?
But we can say
if we at the end of the season or something like that, if they add it back, that'd be really dope. I'm anticipating for Beyond Witch Queen that it goes back to the Cabal side, and we might be able to see like the Leviathan raid come back. things like that.
The only reason why I know that they're going to be coming out with multiple raids is because on that post before they came out with Witch Queen was they were adding raids, not just raid. They were adding raids, like it was like multiple raids. So like I do highly strongly feel that they're coming back with a King's Fall. That's why I say that is
That'd
because
be cool,
of
yeah.
that. Because they revamped Vault of Glass.
Yeah.
Because that was practically the fan choice of raid that they wanted to come back with, but I feel like they're going to come back with King's Fall because that was honestly the highest one before Vault of Glass, but they wanted to bring Vault of Glass instead because they were more focused on Vex at the time. But this is Witch Queen, like one of the biggest DLCs Destiny 2 has to provide for us, and we know for a fact, I know that they're coming out with King's Fall. They have to.
So just to double check, and Cheesy, you probably know this one too. Was King's Fall the one where you drop down the pit, have a thrall going at you?
No, that was
Crota.
That was Crota.
That dude.
This is what I'm excited for.
If they bring that back, I'm gonna cry.
No, if they bring back Crota, yeah, I would definitely dig it.
Just the beginning part was awful.
And the only reason why I would say, King's Fall is because due to the fact that it's Oric's sister.
Yeah.
Like, why wouldn't they bring back King's Fall for that?
Yeah, I mean, what?
No, I think it's a good point. I don't know anything about it. It seems like King's Fall seems to be a favorite in the chat. Dougie joined us now as well. Said it could be Crota. So I don't know.
I know that towards the end of the campaign, they brought up that the King will come back.
So the reason why I say King's Fall is because in the raid you fight two of the sisters. It doesn't show the third sister. There's a third sister now. So therefore, there has to be King's Fall.
Yeah, we'll see.
We'll see.
Because therefore, people that don't know King's Fall are about to get a taste of King's Fall, and that raid or whatever alone it's epic. It's super fun. It's not the easiest raid, but it's not very puzzly either, but it's more to do with a lot of ad control, a lot of placements. It has a lot of comms in it. It has a lot to do with the hive. I just feel like that's going to be because it almost integrates to what we've just seen in Witch Queen in the campaign, because I have seen the playthrough through the whole campaign, and some of the parts kind of remind me of King's Fall, which makes me think King's Fall is going to be the one.
Time will tell. Let's switch gears again. Talking about the campaign, of course. Now we're gonna kind of change into what do you guys think about the new exotics and the missions that have been released with the Witch Queen expansion? Obviously, one of the talking points is what's the name of the SMG? Because I just started using that the other day, and I'm in love with it. I used it on PvE the other night when we were playing, but I started using it on PvP now, and now I'm getting 1,300 damage, elim rounds and stuff. I mean, the thing is disgusting. It is absolutely just my favorite gun to use now on almost any map. I mean, the thing is it's disgusting. So,
well, like you said, Evo, it's practically the Needler on crack.
It is, yeah. It is. I mean, it reminds me a lot of that, except my friends from high school could attest to this. I've never been killed by the Needler, ever, in multiplayer. Never been killed by it. I've been killed by the SMG in Destiny 2, the Striga. So I can't say that on this game. I've been killed by that a lot. So what do you guys think? New exotics, the new missions? What do you guys think of that for the Witch Queen? I know, Krampus, you kind of touched on it already on some of the new exotics and stuff. So what are you guys' thoughts on it?
Well, I think that the Osteostruga is good, but I don't think it's broken necessarily. So, if you look at time to kill stuff, if I put on a Shearer's Wrath or a Multi-Mach, I'm gonna mow you down way faster than the Osteostruga. But the tracking is amazing.
The tracking is what does it. Absolutely.
No, it's strictly PvE.
So, the ease of use. I mean, you see a lot in PvP now. It's an easy gun to use for a lot of people.
Yeah.
But at the competitive level, it's not great because it takes so long to kill somebody. You're like mowing them down, trying to get those like shots off.
Especially when they're pushing you with a shotgun. I mean, it
Oh
doesn't even
yeah,
match up.
that's
Not
supposed to
only
be like a shotgun killer, like SMGs. If they run up on you, to mow them down, like a lot of the other ones do, but it just doesn't cut it in that aspect like, for like time to kill. But it's a fun gun. That's why I like to see it. But for PVE, it's so good, astronomically better than a lot of other options. And with the damage buff for exotic primaries with red bars, it's really good.
Actually, beyond exotics, what they added into Destiny 2 now was the glaive, which I think is a very
Yo,
good aspect for PvE. But the that gun alone is amazing. It's easy to use. Like it has a shield on it. I mean, people don't hit you. Like I mean, it's just super sick to use. It takes out enemies super quick.
oh yeah, like I'm taking the glaive into the raid no matter what because there's a certain combo you can kind of use where it's like you have the suppression from the glaive, and then if you get a melee kill, it heals you, and then you also go invis. So it's like you get a kill with the glaive, you get a heal and invis instantly. And you get another kill with the glaive, heal invis instantly. Like even for like the yellow bar targets, you whack them a few times with the melee, and they're already suppressed and they can't do anything. Just like keep whacking them and mow them down. So like for ad clear, it is amazing. And in a game where like most of our high end content is always taken at range, like no one's running up to what's it called, overloaded like a grandmaster with a sword because they didn't get dunked on halfway up. But with the invis and the healing and stuff like that, it makes it such a viable option that I think that a lot of people are going to be bringing into day one specifically. So I'm really glad the glaive came into play because we were missing like a good melee weapon. Like the swords are great, but the swords use like tons and tons of like ammo, and like they're very situational in the fact that like you can do tons more damage with other weapons anyways. Why get in their face?
It's the fact that swords are a heavy weapon, right?
Yeah.
Whereas you can have the glaive on and you can still have your big DPS boss killing weapon on as well.
Well, plus like the glaive with the melee doesn't even use ammo.
Yeah.
So you can go on some massacre with invis and healing and suppression and not use a single round. That's crazy. I think if they're going to change anything about the glaive, is that they're going to change that the melee attack cost ammo. In my opinion, I would hate to see it because I think that it's really useful in the sense that, if you got nothing else to use, you can still use it as kind of like just sword without having to do that for decent damage. Or you could even you run out of your power ammo, you can still use it to suppress. It'll still activate suppression without having to have ammo, which is dope. So we'll see how that goes. I'm worried about the hotfix that's coming before the raid hits because they might nerf that or they might restrict it for the raid, and that's really going to be a strong contender for a lot, not even just a lot of survivability, but a lot of just like coordination in the game for hunters specifically.
Because
I think if anything, though,
the raid's 1350 recommended, right?
Yeah,
it's going to be 1330.
1330, yeah.
Yeah, there's competitive modifier after that. I think it goes 1360 or 1350, 1550 or 1560.
Yeah, I'm honestly terrified of the raid. I'm not gonna lie.
I think everybody that's going to be
fun.
a day one that's not going to YouTube the videos and stuff like that, because I did that for Wrath of Machines and VOG, and I spent 16 hours on Wrath of Machines without using a single YouTube video with the 6 people I had, or 5 people I had, and then VOG we had the same thing that happened when that raid first came out. King's Fall, we had to. I'm not gonna lie, dude. Like King's Fall, man. Like whenever that raid comes out, I really hope it does. For Destiny 2, I feel like the revamped version of that would be really sick. Because the weapons in King's Fall were by far one of the best ones.
Yeah,
minus the Outbreak Prime that came out of Wrath of Machines.
I'm also surprised to see that the ostrich sugar was restricted to the deluxe edition. With it being such a like meta weapon now, it's like if you don't have it, you need it.
I'm glad I
And
upgraded my purchase. Let's just say
yeah, and some of the other weapons that are like on the table are okay.
No, like, do you remember the Touch of Malice?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep. It's
When
on
you
the same
say, "Oh
level.
yeah," I know you remember that gun because that was in King's Fall.
Yeah, it's the same kind of deal. I think that like while like the other guns are cool, like the Parasite, it's dope, but it's not king of DPS. Takes a lot of setup. It's an interesting gun to use, but it's not like game breaking.
just
Well,
fun
I
to
would.
stare
I
at.
was gonna say I wouldn't say it's not okay. So you can make any weapon, pretty much any weapon in Destiny, like really freaking broken. Like I've seen, like well, like everyone like half the reserve take down Templar with it. It
Yeah,
just it's it's a really good weapon. There's just way too much setup for it
yeah.
instead of just like galley or whatever. Like you know what I mean? It's just it's
Well,
one of them things where you have to have
it's
the correct
it's
things to
it's
have it all work out.
balanced. I'll say it's
Well,
balanced.
Yeah.
I feel like they're going to change the meta in this one. Is my opinion
Oh, yeah.
because linear fusion rifles was the main meta in all raids like that.
Yeah.
The season before, the 1K, the trials linear fusion rifle. All those all those guns were freaking amazing. Like I love the 1K. That was a high damage weapon, and now
Yeah.
like then all of a sudden they buffed the sleeper stimulant, and sleeper stimulant became like top tier.
Yeah.
Linear fusion rifle again.
Well, I was going to say when they, just real fast. When they dropped the Witch Queen, they stated they will not be doing any sandbox changing things such as particle deconstruction, breach and clear, and then I can't remember what the one before that one, but like those, like the last 3 seasons broke Destiny and changed all metas and DPS settings, and it really made everything like you can only use XYZ thing, and if you use anything else, like you're not going to get where you need to. You will, but it's going to take twice as long. So they implemented stating we're not going to change the sandbox to make it so that everyone has to use specific things. They're trying to broaden everyone's horizon and make sure that it has a larger option for everyone.
That's kind of where suppression came into effect with that.
Yeah.
And even still, like, I was kind of disappointed with suppression, but also glad to see that, like, now I could use other options. So, like, tractor cannon is better than suppression. Divinity is better than suppression. So it's like there are a lot of cool options that we've always had, but it's always taken a back seat because if you don't have particle deconstruction on, you're not pumping like Vex with the glass or and it reads regret with Fireline, or you're not using the
All I'm gonna say is, dude, Vexman, the class with particle deconstruction was OP.
It was because like if you didn't have that, you were just underperforming so violently. There was no point.
Yeah.
See, like it reminded me of like way back in like D1. It literally, if you look at the LFG, it was like must have galley. If you don't have a galley, get out of here.
But you got to remember, we didn't have Catalyst back in D1 either. Like
Yeah,
we do
no,
today.
yeah, but it was like if you don't have Gallahorn, you can't raid with us.
Yeah. Mensa just said that too. Right when you were speaking that, Grizzy, he just made the comment of like, no galley, get out of my fire team.
Yeah, pretty much, dude.
Yeah.
And like, I don't want to see that again because like, I don't want to be like, oh, if you don't have Xenophage, you can't run oracles. When really, like, you can do whatever. Or like, I grinded so hard for the freaking Anarchy because of the perk for last season, dude. With the I forget what it was called, the grenade launcher one.
Breach and Clear.
Breach and Clear, yeah. Breach and Clear was so freaking strong.
Yeah, I got screwed on that on Anarchy. Grizzly's like, when I first started Destiny, he's like, here's like a list of like 15 things that you need, and I was like, all right, cool, and I had no idea what any of it meant, so I was asking for it, and I was like, he's like, oh no, I'm not telling you, you go figure it out yourself. I was like, all right, cool. I got everything done on the list, and I finally got Anarchy, and then 3 days later, they're like, we're taking half your reserves, and it's going to be garbage now. It's still going to do the exact same damage, but you're only going to be able to shoot like 50% of the bullets. And I was like, all right, I guess it's going in the vault now. I can't use it. But then or like the double slug thing, I got to use that. I got to use that for one Templar farm, and I did it for like, I think I did it like 50 times because I was like, I'm getting all the spoils that I need.
See, I did double slug day one.
Yeah, it was just one of them things that you got to figure out. And then I was gonna say, I know Cheesy had something to say about something earlier too.
No, I was just gonna say that, when you guys were talking about Parasite, that's the kind of the weapon like design, I guess. I think that stuff's really exciting because you're not actually, like you can get a weapon like Galley, right, or like Zeno used to be, and it's kind of just a workhorse, right? You can take it anywhere, and it's going to be good. It's not going to be the best thing, but it's going to be great. But then they come out with something like Parasite, and it's kind of filling this niche, like Lament was for a while, and probably won't anymore. Where it's just kind of the best thing for a very specific circumstance. So, like if they come out with a boss, and they probably won't for quite some time, but like Atrax and Deepstone Crypt, you just instantly push that guy. You have everybody shooting with a Parasite, and the boss is dead. Like it's just the best burst option in the game, and I think that kind of stuff, like you're looking for tools to add to your inventory, right? Because everybody's got a big knife. We've got plenty of big knives like Galleon and Zeno and stuff. So I think having like this weird shaped screwdriver is actually a lot more fun than.
Also, it's probably the best single shot DPS in the game right now.
Yeah, I mean, if you've got a really short DPS phase, it is just the best option.
Yeah.
Because it's it's going to hit like way over 500,000 damage or something like that.
Yeah.
And that kind of stuff's exciting. So I'm kind of hoping like when we get the raid and we get this pulse rifle. Or speculatively the pulse rifle. I'm hoping that's going to be the same kind of thing. Yeah, I mean, it'd be nice to have like kind of a primary that also functions as something else. Like maybe you stack it up, maybe there's some damage, or maybe it suppresses enemies, or whatever it does. But
that's why I also like Vex, because it functioned kind of like an auto rifle, but then you had the option to switch it to like a linear fusion rifle on the fly. So it was like, at the beginning of it being available, like no one really cared. But for like PvP, for instance, you could one-shot headshot with that thing. So it's kind of like having a pocket sniper with your auto rifle at the same time. So it's fantastic. Because like the charge time with that thing was great.
Because Grizzly, you do know that they're coming out with each glaive for each subclass, right? Or for each class.
Yeah, I've seen it all. Yeah.
Okay, so.
We're gonna get that probably next week.
Yeah,
if the thing lines up right,
the edge of action for the Titan looks freaking sick.
I'm excited for that too.
When they were doing the patch note stuff, and I was actually reading one of the guys that I watch on Twitch. He was reading the tweets out, and they're actually like slowing down progression for the actual glaives to be unlocked for everyone. Because it was like really hit or miss for everyone, and they weren't having like bad luck protection on. They're actually implementing a lot of that stuff for the new things, and they're actually holding down to make sure that people can't get the actual exotic glaive until next week or until after the day one, because they're trying to, because they want to have like the experience of like the day one, and then doing an actual the raid with the glaives is just going to be like a whole nother experience, just to make everything easier for stuff.
Yeah, I do know that the Parasite before the whole nerfing and buffing and stuff like that, it's actually one of the best weapons to use in Deepstone Crypt right now. As far as that I read.
Yeah, I heard actually the Lament, it got like a severe damage nerf specifically in that instance. And also anti-barrier champions. Like I watched one today. They would go in, all damage the boss, and it was like nothing. I'm like, holy cow, what's going on here? Are we going back to like Falling Guillotine or something like that? Or because like it was like no damage, and they all were using it.
So what I was reading on that was the damage registration between the revving up, like the Banshee's Wail,
Uh,
wasn't actually engaging in it. So like I was seeing someone have full rev on a barrier champion, like you were speaking of, and he had half health. He would break shield, but the shield would keep reappearing, and he was healing as he was causing damage to him.
wow, yeah,
And it's like some guy that like always uses lament. Like he's the lament titan guy. Like
yeah,
he's super broken with it. He always uses it, and he's like, I have to put it away. Like I physically can't use this because
yeah,
it is hurting a lot more than use. Like it was even breaking. Like when you hold up Banshee's Wail for like the damage reduction, he was
yeah,
still getting slam killed, and that's not supposed to happen.
yeah.
It's really broken right now, and not in a good way. So.
You got to
I
assume
think,
that's a mistake, though, right? And that'll
Oh yeah,
yeah,
no,
yeah, yeah.
it's probably not intentional. I think it's just like when they what is it? When they put out the patch for everything, it was just one of the things that got nerfed on it, or not nerfed, but I'm trying to think what it was. It was like a I think it was a noodle bug. That's what he called it. It was just one thing happen. You fix one thing and 15 other things break, kind of thing.
like spaghetti code.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Uh,
Spaghetti code.
Yeah, spaghetti
Yeah,
code.
that's what it was.
Well, that kind of we talked a lot about the glaive and the osteostriga and stuff like that, and it kind of fits in perfectly with the next topic we have on today's list is weapon crafting. And I just want to know from you guys firsthand because when I watched the YouTube, when the servers went down the night before the expansion, I immediately went on YouTube and I watched hours of Destiny stuff, right? And it was really not because I cared to learn, like because the expansion was already coming out. It was too late anyway. I couldn't make any changes to any character I wanted anyway. But I really just had to get my Destiny fill. I wasn't done when the servers went down, damn it, and I wanted more. And when I watched a video on what was coming out with Witch Queen, weapon crafting was talked about, and I honestly expected something totally different than what we got. But I've been told that there's weapon crafting in Destiny previously. I don't know if it was in the first game or second game or how that worked, but I was expecting something totally different. So what did you guys expect going into it, and what are your overall thoughts of what it is?
So I'll say, like, I'm really disappointed, but I'm also really hopeful because I hate that I can't whip out my half dandy from beginning of the year and remake it. I can't pull out my my trust or my claws of the wolf and add different perks. I can only change perks of the guns that I build, and that's a super small bracket. Now I'm hopeful because there's a ton of space to expand this, and I think that right now they're kind of just in the trial aspect of it. Like, hey, we'll give you a few blueprints available, see how this pans out, and then we'll start unlocking better stuff. But like, for face value, I was like, man, I really wish I could like do rerolls on my Fatebringer or whatever, but I can't do that because it's just not on the table to make that happen.
Well, the only way you could was if you beat Atheon and you got to the last part where you could read.
Yeah, I was saying, but I can't select my perks.
Yeah,
it's just randomly rolling like normal.
Yeah.
Now I do like how the weapon crafting system works, in the sense that like you have a gun, you level it up, you can unlock different perks for it, and then you change it, and it costs materials. I think they really hit the nail on the head with that one because I want it to be a grind, and I want to like use the gun to level it up. Because let's say I have an auto rifle that I really like. I like how it shoots. Well, if I'm really gonna like dedicate myself to this auto rifle and what it can be, I need to be good with it. It can't, like, for instance, if you had like a god roll Fatebringer, but you suck with hand cannons, what's the point?
Yep.
Like, you're gonna be using auto rifles or an SMG, or if you like, you're good with hand cannons, you get a god roll bow, you're never gonna use the bow because you don't know how to use the bow. So I think that like using the guns to make them better is gonna make Destiny players as a whole use more different kinds of guns to get those god rolls and like work for it. And like the guns that they end up making are gonna mean more to them than just like, hey, this is my 30th, Fatebringer that I've deleted. Surprise, I got a decent roll. But it still doesn't have the barrel that I want. It still doesn't have the, whatever, the mag perk that I want. But it has the perks, so that's fine. I'll deal with it. But, like, really make it your own. How about you?
So I think that when you say they hit the nail on the head, I think that in retrospective, they have it on the head. I wouldn't say that they're driving it all the way in, because from what I've seen from how certain activities work and how the actual process of getting the materials for it, I feel like some of them are easier than others, such as the extended alloys.
Yeah.
It is a ludicrous amount of grinding that you would have to do. And I understand that, okay, it's Destiny. You got to grind for your stuff. You have to do everything, right? But like there's some streamers that I've watched grinded for 7 hours and got one ascended or one ascended alloy, right?
Yeah.
Now you put that on your one weapon that you want to use for that one perk that you have. Okay. Now say you go, okay, this perk isn't as good as I thought it would be. I want to use this perk. So what happens is you have to get another ascended alloy and then get it. But now that it's on a separate one, you lost that perk. I think it should be, if you spend the money on that perk should be unlocked for that weapon.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, because you're gonna say like you have someone that's trying to get the perfect roll and they want to test out the different things and they don't know how the new ascended perks are. If you're having to continuously rebuy the things, you're gonna have to have 6 ascended alloys just to figure out if that is worth it for everything, instead of just, well, in retrospective, you having to have 7, because you're gonna have to buy all the perks and then rebuy the perk that you want because they're not unlocked, if that makes sense. So I can understand like if you have different builds, because I like you were saying the Fatebringer, right?
Yeah.
There's like 4 different roles, for 2 different roles for PvP and 2 different roles for PvE.
Yeah.
But it might have taken 15 or 16 ascended alloys just to figure out what it is, but then you have to go back and repurchase them over again.
Yeah.
So it's just either A, increase the economy for the alloys, or get it so that you can unlock perks permanently.
So I'll kind of feed off that as well, and I think that they should make the Ascendant Alloy tradable with the Ascendant Shards. So, like, let's say I get an Ascendant Shard for my armor. I should be able to go to, like, Master Raoul or whatever, and trade my Ascendant Shard for an Ascendant Alloy.
That'd be cool.
And I think that keeping the perks after you buy it, that should be a thing. Even if it was, like, per gun. So if you had, like, multiple guns, you had to kind of buy it over anyways.
Yeah,
like, for that one gun.
Yeah. If you use it on one gun, like, you might see that, like, okay, this is a hand cannon, it's probably going to act with all of the hand cannons in a similar way, so you could base your opinions off of like, the one thing. So
I would say, with what Evo was saying, like, if I'm not mistaken, it was either at the end of Destiny 1 or Destiny 2 whenever they started to be able to, where you could re-roll things.
They took that out so fast.
Do what?
They took that out so fast. That lasted like one season.
Was it Destiny 2?
It was Destiny 2, yeah.
Okay, yeah. So, Evo, if that answers your question, the crafting part of re-rolling things was Destiny 2, and it lasted for, like, literally a little bit. And because, like, you could re-roll it as many times as you wanted to get the perfect perks on it, obviously.
Yeah.
And that's what it was.
Grizzy, I understand that you wanted your, like, I know that you said that it wasn't what you expected, but I know deep down that all you wanted to do is just put Desperado on every single pulse rifle in the game.
Damn right.
That's all he wanted to do. He was like, "Oh, well, put Desperado on this and this, and I can."
Well, plus, like, I wanted my Halfdan back, which I'm really happy to say that the Herod C from the Gambit thing is almost spot on copy of the Halfdan D, which is amazing for me. I have a lot of cool new perks with the Gambit thing. But the scope, man, I had this really nice infrared scope that, like, if you aimed at it, if the enemy was in like the box, it like lit him up like bright red. Love that thing, and it had max range and like 360 rate of fire. I used to be like beaming people cross map with that thing, like nobody's business. And the Heron C is like kind of that new revamp for me, because like this it has like a ACOG scope, which is nice. It has like barrel perks instead, which is cool. I still can get max range, so I'm glad they didn't change too much on it. So it's like it's still my baby, but it's not the same. I wish I could have like taken that and made it what I wanted, or like for instance, hand cannons. I look on YouTube and everyone's like, "Oh my god, you need the max range, and you need a rangefinder and the range masterwork." I like hand cannons with like a crap ton of stability. That's just what I prefer. I could shoot, like, I have one True Prophecy 120.
Yo, just because the trust isn't available as you want it to be doesn't mean.
Bro, I have the trust, and I've been rocking with that trust. All right,
I have a trust too. Like, I have the curated roll of it.
I just wish that I could have even like the 140s. Like, I have a really nice Vapebringer with like really high stability, and I love that thing. Also, was it Nation of the Beast or something like that? What's the one from the last Wish raid?
Nation of Beast, yeah.
Yeah, Nation of Beast.
Nation
I
of Beast?
have that. I think so. I thought it was like Nation of the Beast and the Nature of Beast.
I don't know. I think it's Nature of the Beast and Nation.
One's the 120.
Yeah.
One's the 140 from the last Wish. Another one's the 180 that's like flames and blue and red. But the last Wish one, I have that one with like really high stability. It's so nice. It's like one after another, just like beaming people from decent range, anyways. But I wish like I could take a lot of like the really nice guns that I like that I can't get anymore necessarily and re-roll them. I wish that was a thing, because like I would break out my old fashioned. Re-roll that with like
my god, dude, the old fashioned, bro.
Yeah, I wish I could re-roll that with some sick perks.
That was basically a trust, but a little bit heavier.
Oh yeah, I think that. Yeah, or the
Dire Promise.
Yeah, the Dire Promise, or the that was another one that was kind of like on that board as well. Yeah, the Waking Vigil.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, there's a lot of cool ones that like I wanted to change, but I just can't, Because it's just, I wish they would expand it more to like all weapons in Destiny, which I know is a big order to ask, but I think that would make a lot of players happy.
Yeah, I think that as far as what I was expecting is more in line of what Grizzy was saying, and I do agree that it's because they're slowly rolling it out to the player base, so that way it doesn't get abused, or they have time to do different tests, or whatever the case may be. Who knows? But I was expecting like you could take more guns and then just change the perks, and I do agree the economy is a good way to do that, leveling up your gun and then spending whatever. I do think that the alloys? Yeah, those are a pain. And you want to talk about a grind? That is the grind. That's the only grind at that point.
Yeah.
I mean, it is a little bit ridiculous. So that part I do think they need to adjust a little bit. But yeah, I was just expecting a little bit more in regards to the crafting, I guess. But I understand why there isn't too. So I'm gonna move on again. We're just hit over the hour mark, so we got a few more topics we want to talk about tonight, and I want to make sure that we get through them, because the next topic happens to be one of my favorite things that we have on the docket to talk about, and that is the Void 3.0 subclass. This is something that I honestly don't have a lot of experience or knowledge in, but what I can tell you from a new player perspective, because we do have people in the chat and we do have people that are watching that have never played Destiny before, or maybe are just casual players like myself. And so the one thing that I'll say about the Void 3.0 is it made me want to use the subclass for obvious reasons, right? But with Stasis being the only 3.0 subclass, I thought that was just completely garbage on every facet of the game. I didn't see a need to use it outside of the campaign and the missions and stuff that required you to do it. But the Void, I was strictly solar until this new update. And I am so good with it now. It has made me an overall better player in both PvE and PvP, obviously PvP being more relevant. But it really has helped me in both aspects of the game. And it's made it more enjoyable too. And it's made me feel better, because up until that point, it was solar only. And that's like, I was a one-trick pony, if that. And now I have more options and I'm more familiar with it. It made me want to use it and explore what the options were and everything that goes with it. So let's talk a little bit about that. And I want to, I guess, give Cheesy the first speaking point about this, because you didn't get to talk much on the weapon crafting aspect. I felt like you had some things to add. So I want to just give you an opportunity to talk about it. What are your thoughts on the Void 3.0 system? And then we'll pass it around and share everybody's ideas and thoughts on it.
Oh, really? I mean, I think overall, like the new subclasses, right? The stasis and the void, it's kind of a huge success, right? You just have more control. You 9 times out of 10 can kind of make a decision on how you want to play. There's usually going to be a right choice for depending on what you're doing. I don't know. I mean, I enjoy it. The problem I have with it right now is that it makes the other two light subclasses feel terrible. Maybe
true.
in like, I don't know, like however long it's going to be, like 9 months from now or something, when we've got the full set of them. Maybe that'll be okay. But I mean, I was always a Void only player before this, and I kind of dealt with the problems, that came from playing Void Hunter, and Mobius Quiver kind of always sucked, and it is what it is. But I kind of, especially now, don't see a reason ever to switch off it. Like, I'm going to play this all the time, and this is kind of like, I mean, I guess that's fine, like, it's kind of becomes your identity or something, right? But that's my only issue with it, really. Like, I would like a reason to, maybe in 6 months from now, when we get the Arc ones, or whatever it is, maybe I'll hit a point where I'm like, oh, actually, this has got a lot of ad clip. Maybe it'd be better to play Arc for this.
Yeah.
And having like a little niche to jump into would be cool. But right now, it's just head and shoulders above everything else. And it feels so much better too.
Yeah,
because it's flashy.
How many times have you loaded into an elim match where everybody's playing Void, right? Like,
exactly.
Yeah.
It
doesn't matter what activity it is. You've got little Warlock black holes flying all over, like the Titan shields giving you overshields, and like, it's so clear that this is. I mean, it's a wild success, but at the same time, it kind of sucks because I like options.
Definitely.
But yeah, no, that's kind of what I think about it. Really, I can't wait for them to do the rest of them.
That's interesting, because you were the other way from me, right? I was solar, and it made me want to play Void for obvious reasons, because it did make the other two classes feel irrelevant. To where you were a Void player, and now everybody's playing Void, and you're wanting to try something different, but there's really no point in trying it right now until those other ones come out. So I definitely understand that as well. What do you guys think as far as the way you guys play the game? Have you guys made the switch to Void primarily because of that, or what have you tried so far?
So I'll say, like, before this DLC, Hunters specifically have really been put on the back burner for like PvE. They've always been kind of like top dog PvP. I mean, along with like top tree Warlock, like Solar Warlock, things like that. But they never really got their time, like, to shine, because with particle deconstruction and all this other like mods that helped with damaging, really couldn't use like the tether anyways because it would just override it. If I'm gonna use divinity, it would override it and not be worth it. So there really wasn't a place for it. Now, Celestial Nighthawk kind of alleviated that because it was really good, like one-shot boss damage. But then we have the Curiosity of Falling Star that made Titans like the best one-shot DPS. And there was no reason to use Celestial Nighthawk unless you were just a try-hard Hunter player. So, and plus, like with the I think it was like Withering Heat from the Titan that also caused the debuff. So it was like, why not play Titan instead of Hunter? Has better one-shot DPS, better ad clear. That's like Hunter was really lacking something, but I think that with how strong Invis is in this season, I think they're really taking the precedent on this. Now, I think that like the other subclasses got a boost for PvE with the Void 3.0, but I think that it with the Void 3.0 have finally brought hunters into like relevancy. Like they just were not relevant PvE. They're just better options. Like if you go to a raid, there's no reason to have a hunter at all.
Does that make you worry? Does
Huh?
that make you worry for like Does that make you worry for next season though? Because
So
a lot of the power is like in these interactions with the mods, right?
yes,
A lot of
I'll
the stuff
say
playing with
yes and no because they did say they're not going to do any sandbox breaking stuff anymore. We're not going to see all of those perks that are like weapon specific. So I think that the debuffing stuff, which is like Withering Heat and then the Void Suppression, and also the like the tether, I think those are going to be more valuable for like boss CPS, like they were before when hunters were relevant a couple seasons ago. And I like to see that. I would like to see more variety. Let's like for instance, like the first day raid, we're literally trying to have it to be 2 hunters, 2 warlocks, 2 titans, because and almost all of them different subclasses, because it's so valuable in the sense that like they all have things that are gonna be good together. If we all ran hunter, it would suck. If we all ran warlock, it would suck too. Like,
Dude, warlocks are fucking OP with this 3.0,
You might-
but I'm
you might
with
get away.
cheesy. But I'm with cheesy. I always been a void hunter. Like that
Yeah.
was always my thing. Like the void hunter is amazing. I love his grenades. I love the fact that they added the 3.0. Like I mean, you can have a smoke bomb, but also invis yourself at the same time.
Yeah.
I mean, that's it. Incredible. Like that's a two-way fucking thing that you can get. So, like, with that being said, like, me being PvP, like, the Void 3.0 is my go-to on the Hunter.
I remember playing Trials with you, and even still, it was weak because all you were like a super stopper.
I was a door blocker.
If the other team was like, "Oh, I'm popping my super," you were like, "Haha, nope," and just shot your fucking arrow at him.
But now it's 3.
Stopped. Yeah, but now she's 3, does good DPS, and you have like all of the grenade options. You have the smoke, you have like the dodge invis, you have a shatter dive now with the invis. So like there's so much more usability.
But I'm gonna go on top of what Cheesy said. Actually, I found out that the arc, the solar, is getting a the the artifacts and stuff like that. Or
Yes, they've
like,
got to work around, yeah.
well, it's coming a lot sooner than we think. First is going to be arc, and then it's going to be solar, because solar was a little bit harder for them to differentiate, like as in like making it even. But arc is actually going to be the first one to have those perks and stuff like that with that.
Yeah,
because
I mean,
Arc Strider
especially-
is going to be the hardest one to do for Hunter.
they
They're
need
probably
to
gonna have
give
to
that thing
invent
some
a new
range,
super.
man. Yeah, because
Because
honestly,
the skip grenades are not going to be like what they are.
yeah,
They're actually going to be a lot more overpowered, as from what I read. They are actually, like how it does the where it arcs everybody. Well,
Yeah.
with the skip grenade, it's going to arc everybody that's nearby the skip grenade, is from what I've heard.
Yeah, I
Can be
mean,
Dune Marchers 2.0 or no, what is it?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yo.
Basically Doom
Hunter x
Archers.
Hunter. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's gonna be crazy.
So the solar part of it, like they're actually gonna have like top tree throwing knives as well,
Okay.
where it can bounce, and it
Ooh.
also flames like a flame wall as well. Depending on
Cool.
where you throw it, you can actually use it as a void grenade. Technically, you can throw it up against walls where it blocks walls. From what
Yep.
I've read, from what it sounds like, with hunters, warlocks, and titans, it's actually going to sound pretty even for what they're doing.
All right.
But we all know warlocks are going to be very overpowered with their fucking, their fucking grenades, their void grenades and stuff like that. We hate them. We all know it, but it is what it is. It's been Destiny 1. They came over to Destiny 2 with it, so it is what it is.
Yeah. I got just a couple more topics, guys, before we close it out, and I want to keep moving along here. Before I do, though, I just want to give a shout out to people in the chat. We got Edgyberry, Felony Instincts, all showing up here as of recently. Welcome everybody. Mediocre Girl also resubbed for 3 months. Thank you very much, Mediocre. Tara the Chimera with the follow, Slayer, Medit, you guys are all awesome. Airman also gifted out 2 subs to the channel, so we appreciate you guys very, very much. And if you didn't know, this video in some sort of way will go on our YouTube channel as well after today's live stream. So if you guys want to be showcased on the YouTube video, we got the Twitch chat following right along. So hey, blow the chat up so we can see your names in there. And be featured on the MPN YouTube channel here within the next week when we get this posted. All right, moving on. Last couple of things. I'm actually going to grab something to drink during this next segment, so excuse me when I walk away. But it is one of the more important topics, and then we'll talk about the raid to end the show. But before we do, PvP and Gambit changes. Now, I don't really have a lot of thoughts about this, again, because I just started playing the game, so I don't really know anything like pre.
Just because you become a beast doesn't mean you ain't gotta say nothing, bro.
I like the way things are right now. Let's just say that. But the one big topic, and I don't care which one we start with, PvP or Gambit, the one that I'm interested in hearing about is Gambit, because I honestly really like the game mode right now. I thought it was more fun than what I remember it back when it first came out, and I faintly played it for a short amount of time. I think it's better now, but a lot of reviews that I've been reading about, literally on Twitter and Facebook, are saying take it out of the game. So obviously there's something that people aren't liking. Let's touch on both of those topics. Whatever you guys want to start with. I know, Krampus, you're a big PvP player, so why don't we go ahead, start it off with you, man, and we'll pass it around. Just kind of your thoughts on PvP Gambit changes this season.
Yo, I just don't like Gambit. I don't. It's just, I mean, it's fun, like, when you have the right people to do Gambit with, but, dude, it is the most frustrating game mode, in my opinion. Because, like, if you play with randoms, it's fucking, like, dude, that Gambit's out of the question.
I'll agree with that, yeah.
And, like, if I was playing, like, when me, Grizzy, and I can't remember the other person, but we were running people out. Like, I enjoyed Gambit at that moment in time, but that was the only moment in time I enjoyed Gambit. But, like, other than that, like, I just don't like Gambit. I like the PvE, PvP aspect of it, but as in, like, you have to have, like, designated parts in Gambit. Like, you have to have two people that at least got modes constantly, or 3 people got modes, and then you have the person that stayed at, like, if somebody was, pounding their modes in the other side, and they were spawning other things like blockers and stuff like that. You had to be that person to take out those blockers immediately, because if you didn't, like, you didn't have, like, where, like, if G Slayer was to get max modes, and I'm not taking out these people, like, he's gonna get pissed at me for not taking out the blocker and stuff like that. Like, Gambit is just not my forte. Like, I like Gambit, but, like, you have to play with the right people.
I think going into Gambit, that was something I actually really liked, and I started playing like regular Gambit and Gambit Prime. like I enjoyed Gambit Prime a lot, even though it was just a different way to play the actual game. I felt like having the different quote unquote game modes, even though it was just an extended part of it, it was really nice. But having I think though a lot of people don't like is health gating for the actual boss is a big thing that a lot of people have the issue with of um having the like you having to go out and kill the envoys again, which I actually prefer on an actual aspect because once you get through the first phase and the envoys spawn in, it's just instant DPS because you're getting that the buff. It's just like within the Witch Queen of the web cutter thing, right? You need to kill the witches to do damage. That's the only way it's going to happen. So as long as you can, take them out and go through it, it's pretty awesome. But the only thing that does suck about the health gating is when you actually have someone invade to your side and do the health back. You have to go through the health gate again because it's pushing past that limit. And because I've had some games where we're on the last health gate and you're good about it, and then you just have the god invader comes over, and I was seeing like some people were saying you get gallied right when they come in, right? And it's just you're all trying to do the DPS and everyone in your team gets wiped. Oh right, well now you have to deal with the health gate again. You have to deal with all of the issues. You still have the buff from the envoys that you killed, but it's still the issue of having to go through the health gating again. But to combat that, I feel like I'm really happy that they put the shader back in, the Gambit shader, which
Yo, I got that today, dude.
yeah, everyone's grinding for the Gambit shader. A whole bunch of people are actually kind of using it for catalyst farming too, because catalysts actually have. I know they haven't said anything, but I feel like a lot more catalysts have been dropping there. Like I've played 3 games and I got Whisper, Age Scepter, and there's one other one. Oh, Laminarch. Like
No,
I didn't.
okay. So I'm gonna add something to Gambit real quick because, like, all right. So this say that you open the portal, right? And you're like, oh, dude, I'm gonna go do it, and you don't even kill somebody. You like die off the rip. Like you didn't lose any motes off their team. You didn't lose nothing. Like that's what makes the game so frustrating. Is that when somebody wants to go in that portal and they don't even fucking kill anybody. Like that is like the most frustrating thing.
Good.
Yeah, exactly.
I was about to say that. I'm like, look, man, if you go into that portal and you die, that's your own beef, bro.
I'm out there wiping teams. I
Get
don't know
better,
what you're doing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
No, that's not me saying for myself. That's for other
The
people.
random
Like
on your team.
because
you
dude, like,
be the one to go through the portal then.
but like when G
Like
Slayer
Rizzy for us.
was on, like when G Slayer was on our team, he would go in there and dude, I shit you not when I tell you this, he would go snipe almost every single person in that lobby and like basically win us the game because they just lost so many motes. He like he would make sure that he would pick the person that had the most motes. And he would
That's another thing that I don't like, that they took away that little emblem to say, because like I understand why they did it, because it was like a toxicity thing of like, it's like, oh, you're only going for like the high end people, but like I felt like that was like a okay.
No, that was perfect because you're getting rid of the person that's got motes and you got rid of them, so like they can't
strategic information, right? Yeah, you're making a decision.
Now, as the invader, I just hide next to the little depositor thing and just kill anybody running toward it.
Yeah,
That's all I do.
Like, I still like the aspect of like, there's not, I don't know how to say it. It's like you're glowing red with a trail on you, like your taken trail, but it's not as of, oh, I have to, like everyone knows exactly where I am. It's just like you're still one of the ads, if that makes sense. So if you hide within, you're like oh, people are going to be like someone comes in from the bank, right? And that's where all the enemies are. You can hide within the enemies and screw so many people up. But then again, I also like the aspect of if you die, you can still get motes off of them. Like you don't lose everything. Like your teammates can still come by and pick up your motes.
Yeah, 50% get dropped.
Yeah, it's not like, oh, I had a 15 and I was dropping my motes in, and like Krampus was saying, or like Cheesy was like, oh, no one cleared out the all of the blockers that were there, so I had to do it, and everyone else was getting moats, and I just lost my 15 because no one was clearing the blockers, and I had to take care of 3 knights from the other team, because they triple dropped. But like, I like the changes, but I don't like the changes. You can't have you can't have 100% effectiveness with everything. There's always going to be something that doesn't work with everyone. Because the things that I don't like, I've heard people say, "Oh, I love that part. That's my favorite."
Yeah. Well, I also want to say that I think you might have misunderstood the health gated thing a little bit, because if you go through you have a certain amount of like witch phases. If you go through and DPS past those, let's say for instance I'm at one like the third bar. I brought him down 2 bars. If they heal him all the way up, I could still damage past the line for the first phase, but it's a timed interaction. It's no longer gated.
Yeah, I've had some games. I don't know. Like, I haven't played as much Gambit as I would like to, but
Yeah.
like, it's Gambit, obviously. Like,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
still trying to prep for the day one raid, and I'm trying to prep for everything. But it's just, I've had some interactions where it's how you explain, and then I've had other interactions where it's still bugs where the it still takes the health gate, if that makes sense.
Yeah, because let's say for instance, if you kill the envoys and you guys are dealing with stuff and you don't do the DPS right away, then eventually it's like gonna time out anyways, and you might get like half of the first bar done. You have to do another phase, but then the next phase you might get like 1.5 bars and you're on like the last sliver, and then you have another phase. So it's a little bit inconsistent in the sense of the word, because for the first chunk of it, they don't want it to be able to be one shot. So there are the health gates, the like hard health gates. You get past this line of damage, you're just gonna have to deal with the shield, kill the envoys. But after you kill a few envoys, then like you get that perk, and it becomes like a timed based DPS phase instead of like a gated one specifically. If you don't do enough DPS at the time, you have to do another phase. But it's still possible at that point to like technically like one shot it. There's not really a ton of things you can do that with now, other than like Thunder Crash Titans like all over the place after the like 4th or 5th envoy set. But it really just depends. I mean, I think that it's a fair part in the game. I know that like for me playing it so far, it's definitely been like a struggle, because like if you have a good invader and they have a good invader, it's going to go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth so many times. And basically, it's going to end up being that you build up those envoy bonuses, and then the second you have a DPS phase, he just gets like one shot, like absolutely deleted. Like, okay, you played this game long enough, you have enough boost, and it's like you see the health bar go from like halfway to 0 in one fucking blip. Because everyone pops supers and rocket launchers and grenades like all at once, finally trying to kill this dang thing, and it just goes. That's it. So it kind of goes both ways a little bit. I think I like the system because it gives time for people to catch up. Like I had a game that I played with. I can't remember who I played with, but someone from MPN that we were like 30 motes down, and they already had their primeval. So we're like, crap, we gotta try and make this happen. And we did, and we won because we sent out invaders, we got their health back, caught up on motes in time, summoned our primeval, we fended off the invader and then also invaded. And it was close. Ended up being like us winning, they had like less than 1 bar of health left. But I think that didn't used to be the case. If the other team got their primeval first, you basically lost the game. Because
unless you had that god invader or whatever,
you would watch the primeval's health bar go like bloop bloop bloop. That's it, like a game over.
Yeah,
there was no chance in catching up. I remember that.
Yeah.
So I want to. I know we're going on we're at 1 hour and 42 minutes right now, and Cheesy, I know it's late where you are, so I'm gonna keep going here. But we do have one good question I want to hit on real quick. We'll make it quick in just a second. I'll tell you why. and then we're gonna do the day one prep predictions. So, Mediocre Girl asks, and it's something that is a very good point to bring up. It's something that we didn't talk about, and we could spend an entire Destiny Zone episode on talking about, and we probably could. If we run out of things to discuss, we certainly could do one. But I just want to do a quick summary, like one topic, one thing that, if I'm not mistaken, Destiny 2, the original game is free to play, right? The Witch Queen expansion that we've been talking about, because it just came out, you have to buy. But the game itself, if you just wanted to try Destiny, it is free to play. And that's the intent of conversations like this tonight, is to get new players interested in the game and to join MPN and be a part of our community, of course. We want that. But somebody like Mediocre Girl, who I'm assuming, just from what I know from her, has never played Destiny before, doesn't have it downloaded. If she's thinking about downloading it, she's been watching, she subbed to the channel tonight. If she was downloading it tonight, what is one thing you would tell her to start out with to better understand the game? And I'm going to pass it down the row. We'll go in order, just one thing. And like I said, we could spend an entire episode talking about this stuff, and you guys have done it pretty much with me in a Discord call. But what is one thing you would tell her from a piece of advice from experienced players? We'll start with Grizzy. We'll work our way over. What is one thing that you would give her for a piece of advice starting out?
First piece of advice is play with other people, because you're gonna, like, there's so much in the game that you could kind of do yourself, but you're gonna enjoy it so much more playing with other people. I mean, this whole game is really a team-based game. I mean, you could play everything solo, but it's meant to be played with other people, and you're gonna have a much enjoyable experience, a much like positive and productive experience by playing with other people. So, finding a squad of people that's willing to take you where you want to go and teach you the game and participate in even like the basic level stuff is going to be really helpful for getting you started and getting you actually interested in playing the game.
Yeah, I'm living proof of that myself. Luckily, she's got 120 plus Destiny players she could play with.
Oh yeah.
Let's pass it on over to Cheesy. What's one thing? What's one piece of advice you'd give Mediocre if she downloaded the game tonight?
Don't get too attached to your stuff. There is a lot of cool stuff, and a lot of them have a use in the game. So if you really like a gun, that's really cool, but don't get too attached to it, because there's probably another one that's just as good. The whole game is full of stuff that's super unique and super interesting, and 99% of it has a niche. And trying to find which puzzle piece fits where is a big part of the fun, especially for me. So yeah, don't get too attached to anything and try everything out.
That is literally me, and we joke about it now, but my blue auto rifle, man. I was in that boat 2 weeks ago. I know exactly what you're talking about. Let's go ahead and pass it over to G Slayer. What is one piece of advice you'd give Mediocre?
I would say, if you haven't played any other game that is as grindy or as time consuming, I would highly suggest figuring out your schedule and making sure that if you're going to want to grind for something or set out to do something, have the time to do it. Because if you don't, it's just going to be an endless loop of, okay, I need to grind for this, but I don't have enough time. I only have, 20, 30 minutes. Because Destiny is a game that, like, just for an example, right? Templar. That's a farm that a lot of people, not just newer people, like high-end people that have been playing the game for years, they do it because there's a thing called spoils, and you need spoils, and Templar is the easiest way to get spoils as of right now. And can attest to this. I've spent multiple hours just shooting one guy and one boss just for those spoils, because that is something that you need for so many things, for real rolling weapons, to getting exotic weapons, to getting exotic sparrows. It's just something that you need.
Yeah, I'd agree with that as well. That's why I'm up all night when I got to work early in the morning, because not good with time management. I can't
Yeah.
get myself away from this game. So I know exactly what you mean on that. All right, let's go ahead and pass it over to Krampus. Then we'll move on to the next topic here and finish out the show. Krampus, one piece of advice to give Mediocre if she's downloading the game right now.
Best thing I could say is don't pay attention to other people's gear, because you're gonna once get certain stuff or whatever. You're gonna see what certain things do and what certain stuff is, and like gear is like you're gonna be grinding it for it. You're gonna be doing this. You're gonna be doing that. You're like I'm gonna add to Cheesy saying don't get attached to something, because eventually you're gonna be seeing something that's a little bit higher. You're gonna get more familiar what's better, like as in like stat wise and stuff like that. Because my thing was that's how I started off on Destiny. Was, oh, that dude has freaking cool gear, like I want that, but I didn't realize what kind of stats they had. That was my biggest thing, and like that dude could have sucked for what we know, but like he had like some of the best gear, like stat rolls and stuff like that. Like that's like one of the main things that you want to like focus on, is just keep statting up and bettering your gear. Like if you see a piece of purple armor, you're like, that looks cool, don't get attached to it.
Yeah.
Like you want to better the gear that you have, and like you can get with me, Grizzy, G Slayer, Cheesy, even Evo now. Evo has more better perspective of what gear is. So like we know exactly, like my gear is for my hunter is set for PvP. Like it is PvP stuff. That's all it's about. My warlock is PvE. That's all I use. I have a Titan, but my Titan is on the back burner for a lot of things because I don't like Titans. Just my preference is that I like warlocks and hunters. So I would highly suggest of just not focusing on somebody else's gear and focusing on your own.
Yeah. So like for me, if I had to give out a piece of advice, I'm a week 2 kind of grinder here. So I'll give out my expertise. I actually saw what Menta said in the chat, is that the game is almost an MMO at this point, and I kind of agree with that. I do agree with that. And I think that's why I've fallen in love with the game, is I've always looked for those types of games, but I typically like get bored with them within a week. I just play it so much. I get, I want to move on to the next thing. To where Destiny, to kind of tie in with what Grizzy was saying, is I have people to play with. So like, then that factor doesn't really exist for me where I get bored, and I have people that are also grinding for the same things that I am, maybe, or trying to achieve those same goals, those weekly missions and getting the gear and all that stuff. So that also makes it fun. For me, if I had to give out a piece of advice, I would say utilize your resources. Use, and this is the CEO in me, use our Discord servers. You can see all the channels, Mediocre. So jump in the Mutiny channel, the Dynasty channel. Jump in the MPN social Discord, where we have a ton of Destiny-related channels, and ask questions, because these groups of fellas that I have here with me tonight, and many, many, many more, most of them were in the chat at one point or another and probably are still lurking, are willing to help out new players. And I think that's what, I've fallen in love with, and that's really what opened my eyes to all of it, is just what these guys are doing and the environment that they've created for both experienced and new players. It's easy to create a friendly environment for experienced players, right? Where we can sit in here in a show and talk about the game all night, and half the people don't even know what we're talking about probably. But it's the environment that is created for new players, people like me 2 weeks ago, to be as successful as I am in the game already, is solely from these guys in this chat and many others in our Discord servers. I mean, that's really all it is. If I was still out there playing by myself, there's no way in hell I understand what the game is. I just beat the expansion campaign and I'm done. I'm moving on. But here I am.
You got the blue auto rifle on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm still trying to beat the campaign, I should say. Because there's no way I would have been able to do it by myself, especially on Legendary. That is one of the hardest things I've ever done. But the most rewarding, too. I don't regret it at all. It was a ton of fun, and it was, like I said, rewarding. But that's what I would say. And then, like G Slayer said, one thing that helped me out too was YouTube videos. You know, you could look up beginner videos, where to start, those kind of things. And hopefully, you know, if we continue doing this type of talk show, if you guys are liking it in the chat, let me see if you are. Then you guys can tune into stuff like this and just listen to us talk about the game, and then utilize what these guys say in your gameplay, you know. And who knows what future topics will hold and things we could talk about, but every week there's something new to talk about, just one subject in this game, let alone every season, every expansion. I mean, that's why we started doing this, was because there's so much content that you can, you know, absorb and learn about and enjoy. So it's really cool. It's a lot to learn. I'll give you a forewarning on that. You know, but you know, to I guess just end all of the tying in with G Slayer's comment. You know, commit to the time, set time aside for it, and sooner or later you'll be as good as me in those PvP matches. What can I say? So
Maybe not.
I just set a high bar there, but
yeah.
Menta, I know that you're in the chat, man. You have been all night. I want to acknowledge you. Thank you as well for participating in tonight's stream. Let Mediocre Girl know where to start out as well. And Eji, I see you're still in here too. You've been a Destiny player. Share your advice, guys. That's what this is all about. So we're almost hitting the 2-hour mark. We're gonna end it. One last topic, guys. Prediction time. Prediction on day 1 of the raid. I don't even know if I know the name of the raid. Do we know that yet? I don't think I do, but do we know it? And if so, what are you guys thinking?
Vow of the Disciple is the name.
Okay.
Yeah.
What is it called?
Vow of the Disciple.
I never even heard of it, honestly.
Yeah, I did say I haven't
No.
even. I honestly was waiting for. I didn't know if it came out or not, but I just.
Well, since Cheesy
That's
knows the
good.
name, go ahead and start it, man. What do you think?
No, it's defensive action, bro.
It's what?
Defensive action.
Well, that's not the name of it.
Yeah.
Oh
What?
my god! Now you guys are gonna have to Google it.
Maybe I'm pretty sure it's Vow. Maybe it's
No,
not.
no, you might be right.
I
Yeah.
think Vow of the Disciple sounds more like Destiny style.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Maybe I just made it up. I'm
It's
having
the-
you all on. You all believe me.
yeah. Now I have no idea because I haven't heard
From-
anything.
From the actual intel of Bungie, the new raid will be called the Vow of the Disciple. A Bungie press release has confirmed said name.
Hey, there you go.
All right, Cheesy, go ahead. Start it off. What are you thinking? Day 1 raid, Saturday. What did we say it was? Noon Central, 1 Eastern.
EST.
10 a.m. GST, 6
okay.
p.m. my time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean it's gonna be a late one for you, man.
It'll be a long night.
You're
Yeah.
adjusting
Yeah,
your
you're-
sleep schedule and everything for it. So let us know. How do you think day 1's gonna go?
I don't know. I mean, I think if we look at the past couple raids they've made, right? So Deepstone Crypt and what was the one before that? Scourge of the
Last.
Past.
Yeah.
They were both really puzzle heavy.
Yeah.
Deepstone less so, but Scourge of the Past was super puzzle heavy.
Yeah.
The whole opening the raid, doing the map reading and all that kind of stuff, that took a long time for teams to work out. I'm hoping there's something like that. I mean, I can't get enough of that kind of content. I love that stuff.
It's definitely going to be like that because of how the campaign flew out.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
The campaign dropped so many
Absolutely.
like hints and teasers at the raid with all
Yeah.
the symbols and the coins and the deep sight and all of that.
So
That's
when-
all going to be in there.
What was it? Ice cream cone, hamburger, A, and then snowflake, and then cheese.
Yeah.
Naming
Cat
for him.
in the hat. No, it's
Yeah.
the McRib.
And I call it.
It was so
Oh,
many
yeah.
different symbols.
I'm over here yelling jellyfish and shit like
I'm
that.
going
Like,
off jellyfish and A and turret and stuff like that. I don't know where you guys are coming up with all this other stuff.
So yeah, I reckon there's going to be a lot of that. I'm hoping a lot of communication as well. I'm really into like the communication encounters, like the Vault and Dreaming City and the Last Wish.
Yeah, I think
I think
I think
one of
that
those.
we're gonna have a thing like the oracles, not like the oracles in the gatekeeper, not the gatekeeper one, but like the last stage you have to shoot the lights.
Oh
I
yeah,
think that
Yeah.
we're probably gonna have something similar to that, with the symbols, like having like one party read the symbols, the other party like split into three, like three up, like 3 and 3, like because that's been consistent, like Leviathan raid and Deepstone Crypt, and like a few of the raids have had that like the separation. So I think that like that might be a play between like because you don't remember what was it the mirror quest, the mirror part in the campaign where you had to like before you went to the first mirror you saw like the 3 symbols. Then after you kill the knights or witches, then you have to find the mirror that matched those 3 symbols originally to go back.
Yeah,
the right spot.
Yeah, that was a really I did like I was gonna say that was a really big part of what I didn't understand. I think I died probably like because I did the whole campaign solo, which was rough. Took me way too long to do it, but like that having it like the intricacy was extremely awesome for everything for the campaign being in there, and if that's like implemented in the raid, it's going to put a whole new aspect on a lot of things.
Yeah.
Well, going along Evo's question of how long it's going to take, I feel the first people that's going to make it through is going to take 13 and a half hours.
Yeah, at least.
That's a good prediction.
Honestly, okay, so if we as a community
going in there blindly,
if we don't
anything,
if we don't cheat and don't look at other people's like streams like day one, like podcasts or whatever, if we don't do that, it will probably take us about 16 hours. Is my guess.
I was guessing 16.
Yeah.
The first people, I would say 13 and a half.
Oh, like world first.
Yeah, that's us. First. What the hell?
Was it? Who was it Deepstone? I can't remember what the raid was, but it was like all these top teams are going for it, and like an LFG team. There was just like some random people they met offline, like, hey, you want to do the raid? And they cleared it, and everyone was like, oh, are these like super, like, no, just some random people that I met online.
Anyone could get world first.
Yeah,
that's why we're on the table. We're in the league to do it.
I will say, if nobody's playing Destiny 2 raid first day, I would highly suggest, if you wanted to watch it, the best person to watch for raids like this is Goliath. He is always a day one raider. He's always the one that gets it done way before 8 hours. Him and the same team that he's been running raids with since Destiny 1. If you want to watch somebody that's a day one raider, Goliath.
So if we need to cheat, then we will watch.
No, I'm not saying watch Goliath's stream. I'm just saying, like, people that's in the stream on for Evo right now is if they want to watch somebody actually do it, like, because
they can watch us.
Yeah.
Yeah, they watch us. I'm just saying if they want to watch somebody that completes it a little bit quicker, because I know it's gonna take some time, man. Because I'm gonna be a day one raider, because my whole Saturday schedule done.
Saturday.
I'm not doing shit. I'm going to be day one raider with whatever group I'm in. I don't care what group I'm in. It's going to be fun. It's going to be enjoyable. That's where you make memories in raids. That was the coolest thing about Destiny, is Destiny raids were the most memorable things in Destiny. As in like making friends, making friendship. And then obviously right after that, you're playing more Destiny together afterwards.
Yeah,
so, and once, dude, like, you know the hypeness whenever you complete the raid with somebody,
and you just get the Vex Mythocast, and you're just like,
Listen, stop. All right, listen.
I was saying,
I've done it for 50 runs, and I still haven't gotten it. But Evo gets it on the first. Oh, dude, that was toxic.
Cheesy might know this one, but do you remember what that sniper rifle was called? That was like the precedent to the Whisper of the Worm.
Oh,
and it was from the raid.
The Black Spindle.
Black Spindle, yeah. When I got that was like game over.
Bro,
I was like,
all right, so
I was shouting in my house.
All right, they took the Black Spindle out for a long time, and then they put it into a Nightfall, but you could only do it in a certain amount of time. Like, you had a time frame to kill. It was kind of like Atrix, like from Deep Crypt, but it looked exactly like him. But like, you had to kill him in a certain amount of time, but it basically made it into a Nightfall like times 10.
Yeah.
At that point, and that was the only way you can get the Black Spindle after they.
That was such a good gun back in the day.
And
that was great.
But my favorite gun in all times, sniper wise, the Icebreaker. That gun was broken.
Yeah.
Okay, so Evo, I was talking to him about it. He doesn't know what the icebreaker is.
No.
Yeah, it's broken.
Bro, all right. So basically, all right, say that you had the Adored. It had a little bit of further zoom and it had an arc like thing with it. But it generated ammo.
Oh. I love
It's
the
like
Adored.
auto regen, yeah.
Yeah, it had an auto regen. If you wasn't rocking a palindrome and an icebreaker, dude, you were no good in trials.
See, I'll say this. I personally think that with how much health the last boss of the campaign did, I'm honestly praying that our boss fight for the raid is not anywhere close to what it was.
Yeah,
because that was so hard.
I have a feeling that it's going to be very, very puzzly. Like, I feel like it's going to be more of a puzzle to kill this guy and like make it more, because like obviously like the raid bosses that we have, Deepstone Crypt, the end boss. Let's face it, one of the easiest bosses to kill.
Yeah.
And
but it took coordination to do it too.
Yeah, of course, but you could DPS it in one phase easily if you had the right people to do it. And when I did it with Cheesy for the first time, we DPS'd it one phase easily. And it was like nothing. Except for I was the one that got fucking trash canned because I didn't know there was a tornado behind us with fucking junk behind us. And I got fucking whacked. And they still did it with 5 people.
Yeah.
That's how easy it was. But like, you know, Atheon was a fucking challenge. Atheon took a lot of time to do. He had a lot more DPS on him. But like that's why I'm really stoked of what they choose for the boss to be for this one. And I feel like it's gonna take a lot longer than we're expected.
See, like I did day 1 VOG, and like I wasn't the person on the final team to do it, like the last roster, because so I don't have the banner. But I like my squad did it. And it took us 10.5 hours to beat VOG day 1. And we did it completely blind. But it was a repeat raid, so we already knew like most of the stuff going into it. And DPSing the last boss Atheon, which is literally just like standing still and like shimmy a little bit to the left, shimmy a little bit to the right. But really, like, you could use anything to hit him with. We were using like literally every possible combination of things to kill him. And our problem was DPS. So like, you know, the reason why I wasn't on it, I did most of the raid with them, but the boss phase, we were like subbing people out that had like different exotics or different subclass builds to like basically just throw it at the wall and see what stuck. We were just shooting like rocket launchers, grenade launchers, sniper rifles, like we pull out swords, fusion rifles, you name it. We were using whatever we possibly could think of. Like I had my Destiny item manager open for like hours, like swapping. And that's what it's gonna be like for this. We are going to like almost for every stage just be spitballing, and like for instance, Xenophage with the oracles. Day 1, nobody was doing that. At least not to my knowledge, because we didn't know that Xenophage would one-shot the oracle. We had no idea. So we're there like auto rifles, sniper rifles, scout rifles, just like freaking like annihilating these oracles, trying to get stuff done, and then like we would get the armor piece from the raid, and I think that getting the armor from the raid is going to really help day 1, because if we can get those like intrinsic perks, like that's like, you know, for the VOG, it was like, well, you do extra DPS to oracles, or you do extra DPS to like scions or whatever, or they give you like super energy. Those perks are going to be really, really valuable going into like a day 1. If we pick up like a pair of boots that has like an extra perk on it, we're going to slap those puppies on, because that's going to be a huge advantage later in the raid. I think that a lot of teams are going to be doing that as well. Even if I have like for me, I have triple 100s with my stasis build, and now with my void build, I have triple 100s. So it's like I have like my perfect build. But if I have a piece of armor from the raid that doesn't have like perfect rolls, but has that perk, I'm going to put it on. I think that's going to be something that we're going to see kind of across the board, and I hope that if we do get some good drops early in the raid, that'll carry us through the rest of it. That's going to be super nice.
Except for the thing is, dude, I'm super excited for what the raid weapons are going to be.
Bro, yeah.
Because for one, all right, let's get one thing straight. They're gonna be hive weapons.
See,
Because we know hive weapons in Crota or King's Fall, dude. They were fucking amazing.
Do you remember the SMG? It kind of looks like the Austriostriga, but it was in D1. It had like the husk. You had to level up.
Oh yeah, the husk. Oh my god,
dude, that thing. Oh my god, that thing was a beast and a half. It was one of like the fastest firing SMGs there was, and I think that hopefully seeing some of those come back, like seeing some like really unique guns. I think Austriostriga is like super unique. It's like it has tracking, has a poison round, so it's like a needler with thorn, and it also procs with those. What was that? The arm piece for the warlocks?
Necrotic grip.
Necrotic grip. So it works with necrotic grip. I think that like for it changed the way that PvE is played right now, in the sense that like it's so good at ad clearing, and with the like kind of overflow perk, with you get a kill and with the poison refunds your ammo, with like a ton of ammo. You have over 100 rounds in the mag. It's ridiculous. It's like, why wouldn't you use this? So I think that it's a little strong for PvE, but I'm anxious to see what else is coming, because that might very well change. It might not be top dog anymore, but still a strong contender. I'm really anxious to see, like, they have the glaive. The glaive was like super out of the field from basically any other weapon in Destiny. Austriostriga, another one that's like way out in the field. So I think that like seeing and the Parasite too. The Parasite has that like wind up of getting kills ahead of time. We're seeing a lot of really unique guns that are really like not really, I wouldn't say like super niche, but they fill a lot of roles that a lot of guns don't. And I think that the raid exotics and the raid weapons that are going to be coming, and also later with the different expansions, different like sub-season drops that we're going to get, are really going to be cool to see.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll be excited for it.
Yeah.
I like it. Well, guys, it's been 2 hours and 10 minutes. You guys have doubled my expectations. That rarely happens.
We could have gone longer too.
Yeah, we definitely could have, man. But
Yeah.
we got to save some stuff, because I'm feeling like the chat maybe wants to see another episode in the future, huh?
Yeah, I'd be down for that.
I think we could do this regularly. I don't know if we should set a schedule like weekly or bi-weekly or something like that, but just like we get together every once in a while and we just talk about the damn game, because there's so much to talk about, and you guys enjoy different facets of the game, which make it even more unique for a show like this. And the chat has been amazing. You guys have been asking questions, giving your own advice, your thoughts, opinions on the game. It's been a lot of fun, and we're still averaging over 20 viewers right now, even 2 hours into this. So we got some Destiny fans out there, and we're just getting started. So this is incredible. You guys are awesome. I did see one other thing I wanted to make sure I touched on before we go. Oh, Mediocre asked another great question, if she was going to be able to watch us all raid on the day it comes out, and the answer is yes. We're going to get all of the links of our Twitch streamers. They're going to be showcased on the website Saturday and Sunday. You can check them out, mpnlive.net/content, or just go to mpnlive.net and click on the content page there on the website. And we're going to have all of our Destiny streamers showcased right there for the weekend. So if you want to catch any of our streamers streaming the raid as they're trying to get through it, because it is a huge stepping stone for this new expansion. It's a big challenge for a lot of players, one that we're all looking forward to, myself included. This will be my first time ever on a day one raid, and I'm pretty pumped to do it as well. And I'm the same with Cramp, right? I don't care who it's with, because it's going to be a great experience. There's going to be a lot of memories made. It'll probably be pretty frustrating, but it's going to be a lot of fun. We're all going to do it together, and that's the cool part, because when we are done with it, these are memories that you'll never forget, with people that you'll appreciate more than ever when you're done with it, to get through it. So I'm really, really excited. It doesn't matter to me who I raid with either. And I know that we have a great, great team of people ready to go. Been grinding the game since the expansion's released to get ready for it. and it's just going to be a lot of fun. So before we go, any closing comments? Anything you guys want to share? Shout outs? Anything before we end this episode? And then they won't see us again until after we're done with that 16-hour raid.
The only shout out I can say is like anybody that wants to play Destiny or start to play Destiny, get with me. Whatever I DM me, if you know me, MPN Krampus _TTV. I can send you my Bungie ID so we can game and start playing.
We had an awesome episode, guys. Thank you all for your time. 2 hours and 20 minutes tonight in tonight's episode. So I'm looking forward. I think we do this again after the raid. We talk about
100%.
the experience and that. And then we can also open it up for other stuff, right? Like I said, we could do an entire episode of just things to hit on as a new player in Destiny, let alone all of the other, expertise type topics that we could go on and talk about, especially as I continue to learn more about the game. I can contribute more to those topics in the future as well. So I'm looking forward to it. If you guys are down, I'm down. If the chat's down, it looks like they are. They're loving it. You guys are awesome. You guys have been so amazing tonight in contributing to tonight's conversation. We could do an FAQ night for all we know. The possibilities are endless. And if you guys do have questions, make sure to hit us up in our Discord server, mpnsocial.net. We have an entire Destiny section right there that you guys can communicate firsthand with all of these players right here in front of us. You can talk to them directly just by joining our Discord server and hanging out with us and having a good time. And we're definitely looking forward to seeing y'all after the raid this weekend. I can't wait. It's going to be a lot of fun. Again, special shout out to the guys joining me on the live stream tonight. We have Cheesy Poof, Grizzy Fo Shizzy, Krampus, and G Slayer all tonight. So, hey, give them a shout out if you see them in the Discord server. Thank them for the content they provided us all tonight, because it was, as I anticipated, plus 100% of that. So literally 200% of what I wanted tonight came out of this group of players and these members here in our community, and they're around every single day to help out. So thank you guys. I enjoyed it. Awesome episode. Can't wait for the next one, and I can't wait to, hopefully I'll be raiding with some of you guys maybe. We'll see. We'll see where we land.
Oh, yeah.
As far as Saturday goes, but I'm looking forward to it. Everybody else, have a good rest of your evening. I'm going to go hit up Destiny so you guys know where to find me, and we'll see you all on the next episode. This is the Destiny Zone, hosted by MPN. See you later.